So good morning, everyone. Hi, Steve. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear
So
it. Yeah.
probably we start now.
Yeah.
I think we already have 16 students.
Yeah. Or maybe 50 students.
Yeah, maybe yeah,
Yeah.
17 already. So maybe we start because we have 2 hours altogether. Probably our arrangement is first I will introduce about Matlab, and then Steve will introduce about LabVIEW. All that I mean. Uh, I remember I have sent an email. Have you received? I hope you all received my email. And the first is like my thinking is like if you can install Matlab and LabVIEW in your local computer, that's the best. Because for some of the students have discovered like if we use workspace, sometimes it's quite slow. Especially if you connect to hardware and it is not even not possible. So my thinking is like I still strongly suggest you to install Matlab and LabVIEW in your local computer. Uh, Now I start to introduce about the Matlab first. Have you read the document I sent to you? It's mainly about the Matlab and the LabVIEW tutorial. For the Matlab tutorial, the first several page is give you a hint how to install the Matlab in your local computer. Use the UTS license. So if you have any problem, you can send me a message and I can cooperate. And now I go to the tutorial. I share the screen. I share my screen and then I go to the tutorial. We start from the beginning, right? So first, Matlab is a very high level language. That means like it includes a lot of toolbox. To open Matlab, because I install the Matlab is the same as in the workspace. It's 2019A, so it's nearly the newest version. So you can see there it includes lots of toolbox, for signal processing toolbox, for example, control toolbox, even deep learning toolbox, lots of toolbox. The good thing is you when you learn any subject or discipline especially in the engineering side, uh, even in the some scientific side, science side, like you still have some toolbox. So this give you a very good, for example, statistics in the biomedical science is also very useful. And in MATLAB, they have a statistics toolbox as well. So they are very powerful. They are all invite the most famous experts to develop the MATLAB toolbox. For example, for the system identification toolbox, uh, like it's modeling. So it's written by the most famous system identification expert called Linda Jun. So this is just example. So all the is that means he integrated all the expert knowledge. So in the MATLAB. So that's why uh, most university use MATLAB as the common language for research and also teaching. So that's why I think that first you need to think like MATLAB is very important. And also for this junior studio, we will have a project. So after today's lecture, we will separate with uh, uh, Steve, and we have two big groups, and then each group will have subgroups. we will individual project. For example, 4 people one group or 3 people one group, and then we can give you some task, just like maybe related with the signal processing or and machine intelligence, and then we based on Matlab and LabVIEW, we give you some practice experience. Now we look at tutorial again. I mean the tutorial material again. I think I will, because we only have 1 hour. I will go through quickly, and I will give some pooling questions asking you to answer to see whether you grasp it or not. So this I hope you already read, because this one is just talking about the advantage of MATLAB. So there's lots of advantage. This is only a very small amount of list. So when I was a student in China, like at that time, like because I'm studying control, each university have a have a simulation toolbox. But later on, when MATLAB uh, appear, so they all transfer to use MATLAB. So that means MATLAB is really powerful. And this is to teach you how to install the MATLAB. So have you all installed in your computer? How many? If you haven't installed, you can try again. I think install the is not that difficult. So this is a MATLAB environment. You look at this environment, this command, this the file system, and then this is the workspace. You can see in the workspace, you have you have the parameters. This appear. For example, if you want to put to here, have a look. You just come here, or you just simply put here. You can have a look. So uh, so this is a command uh, window. So this one is, so all of the environment, I think is very friendly. You can easily learn it. Um, I will not speak too much because we don't have time. And this command window, this some if you want to first, you how do you generate a new piece of manuscript piece of code, and you put a new, you type new, and then you have a script, and then you get the new one. Or you can simply just put here this one, uh, use this plus uh, type, and then you can type, and then you can include a new, you can start programming. You can start programming, like clear all, close all. So you can start programming. So it's quite easy uh, and friendly environment. So this is one you can write the code. I give you I have lots of code. For example, this is a code for the signal processing. So for the filtering of EMG signal, the ECG signal, and we use both FIR and IFR filter and the Fourier transform. So this is powerful. This is toolbox. If I call use must have toolbox. It's only one sentence. It can do the frequency analysis. You can see this is a so this is one toolbox. You only need one sentence, and then this is a Fourier transform of the ECG signal. So and there's some noise around. This is after filtering. This noise disappeared. So this is the toolbox. You can see you can have a calculate the delay and the phase response and also magnitude response. So this is a band reject filter. So this 50 hertz noise can be easily rejected. So this is you can also see other things like this power location. It's already your filter power location. You can see there's lots of things you can see like linear phase requirements, and also group delay. So so it's everything you can have the co-location things. So it's a very so if for example if we learn the signal processing, we can just like learn with the Matlab. So that's a little complex programming. You can see even that complex, not many I didn't see I didn't write a lot because everything. For example, the filter design just like one sentence. So this one sentence, you just help. You just like type help. If you don't know, you just help uh design filter, and then it will have all the document. For example, so they tell you how to design filter. Use this command, and very easy. Just one sentence you can design, and also you can go to website. They can easily teach you uh, give you more information, examples, and everything. So MATLAB is quite easy to use. Uh, from my point of view, I think MATLAB is the most easiest language to learn. So it's very suitable for the junior student to study this one. So it's too much. Go too far. And then this is the MATLAB. So first program, I think this is quite easy. So I don't want to go detail. I hope you already practiced. And then you can change folder and things. Like this is an example. Like first, they have variable. Variable is very common. Like how to define variable. So they two things for MATLAB, they are not very care about too much about data type at the beginning. That you 18. If you learn the view, sorry, if you have learned the C language, maybe they have floating and things you need to be careful. Otherwise, there's a lot of error. But for MATLAB, they are very flexible, and you can see just put 18. So no need to define the specific data type. And but there's some uh, rule you need to follow. But this rule is very intuitive to understand. So I'm not go in detail. I hope you already read these things, and I will. So this is all the operation numbers and operations on numbers, and this is for calculation. So it's very commonly used. So plus, minus, multiply, and divide, and exponential, and all the things. So it's quite easy. And so this is printing a variable. So this for example, this is a formula. There's a input things. So this is not hard. So I think I give you if you cannot follow today, you can even go when you go home, you just read the slides. I think because only half 1 hour, so I cannot go too far. Now we look at the variable. So this is you define the variables, and this one have also arrow message. So for the MATLAB, another advantage I think is it's easy to detect the error. For example, for the C language, if you have errors, you give lots of full information, maybe too much information, and they compile the whole together uh, as a execute file. Uh, but for MATLAB, it's line by line to do explanation. So it's debugging. So you can, for example, start from one part, and then you can find directly the reason why you have this problem. So we look at the example here. So we run this example. So we can see this one tell you there's someone will have a problem, right? if I go here, I put here, I, I show you how to write a small code here. And then you clear all and close all. And then when you write, they will ask you where put this code. For example, here just like exercise 1. And then if no error, they just display result. But if I, for example, I put another things, they will tell this error because unrecognized variable mark. So this one they cannot recognize. So uh, this is for logic. You use logic, they have a double equal symbol. So this is a you can exactly find where have problem. They called in line 8. So line 8 is here have problem. If I this one, then it will work. So that's another advantage for Matlab. So they give you error message immediately. So there is workspace. I already tell you this workspace. What's the workspace means like all the variable appeared, they will we will appear in the workspace. You can see you can one you can show here is workspace, or you can just simply type who. You can simply type who, for example, who, and then they will tell you mark the variable, and then when you type mark, they will tell you the value. And also you can clear this workspace variable, just clear, and you can see the mark disappeared. So if you type who, nothing there. So workspace. So the environment is this is the code, this is the workspace, this is a command, this is a file system. And also you have find some other windows. For example, you can put this have two windows split, or you can make back. So depends on what you want. It's quite a powerful environment for the Matlab. So I hope you can Matlab well for this junior studio, because in the future we learn other subjects like signal processing, like fuzzy logic and neural network. Yes, you may use. I think most likely you will use like Matlab. So this workspace. So I will show you this age. If you write something age, for example, I write age equals to 18, and if you observe in the right hand side here will appear age. So you can hear age here, right? So this is very straightforward. And then this is all talking about the workspace. So I think this is quite easy to understand. So clear windows. Oh, this I already show you because sometimes if here you want to know the immediately executed result, PLC, the clear screen, and then for the command side have nothing. So you also can, for example, you can draw a figure, so you put figure one, you put figure one, but you want to close it, you just maybe you have lots of figures, so you want to close all of them. So close O, and then the figure will disappear. So the figure disappeared. So it's very clean. As you can see, you cannot see any figures there. So, but you can also close O and clear O if you have other things, age and all the workspace things will disappear. So this is some little trick. And also you can clear or clear O and DLC is in the Windows. And also they have functions. So functions, there's mean in inside the Matlab they have some functions like times, plus, and things, sine, cosine. But they also have external. For example, later I will talk about you can build a function yourself and you can call it immediately. But this is external function. But the internal function is something like this: cosine, arccosine, and digital to radians, degree to radians, and the cosine. This is a lot of function. So you can see the functions. If you found, for example, you don't know cosine, you just help cosine, you can find the function. And also, like the most important thing for language is like you need to have a judgment. You need to have a condition statement. Like you want to make a judgment, and then you need to use if. And later we'll talking about while. So this how make logically how to make it work. So have you do it? Maybe after I finish this one, I will do a polling test to see how you good on the if and the if then language and the if else if else and. So that's the format. So you need to get a habit, like you need to make the coding looks very professional. You need to use tape, but this one doesn't influence the result. But this is a habit. You need to put a table, tape key to have enough space between the in the body of the if statement. So you can the structure is like this. If this is the condition, for example, if mark is greater or equal to 50, and then display pass. So this is the one because maybe this is the one is the one. For example, I put mark is 90, and if mark is greater than 50 and display pass. So in that case, if I run this one, what we can get actually is we run here. Actually, also you can use debug. For example, I put a breakpoint here. You just right click, left click here. You have break, and then you go, and then they will debug to here. Up to here, there's nothing, right? But I can step in, and then the mark displays 90. And then we look at each step, what we can get. So we go to here, and then the mark is greater than 50 because it was 90. And then it will display the path. And I go, and they display the path. And then they go to end because the condition is satisfied. So they pass, and then they say finish, right? So they finish. So this is if I continue run, this finish, yeah. So this is we get this result. This is the if statement. Some is very similar with the C language. Some have a little difference. So this is this example. The, this is the right format when you write the code. You can see. But actually this format is not influence the result. But this is, for example, I go here. But in Python, it's really in here, for example, because Matlab is very flexible. They're not give you any error or things, so they still work, right? But professionally, you need have this one, have a tape, yeah. But that doesn't influence results. So that's if statement. So if statement have some other symbols you need to understand. So if you want to say something is equal or not, you cannot just use one equal symbol. You need double. So for example, if here I say if equal to 50, if to 90, then if to 90, I display wall, display grid. So this one is right, so they print grid, the display grid. But if I just only use one thing, so they have error. See, like they don't, they cannot, they give you a hint like you need to use double equal symbol. So it's easy to understand, and then you simply just like cl clear this one, and quite easy to use, I should say. So this one I don't want to hide to. So this is 100, and then this is other symbols like this is all, this is and. So you need this table is very useful. I hope you can keep this table when you write some booleans. And then this is a, and also there's a type K is a, this is for all. You know, like for logic you have and all. So you can use type K. So this is for example, this is another example. Like you can use bracket to combine two logic. For example, you want to see you have temperature and pressure, so you want to make a judgment whether it is dangerous or not. Because in your, for example, in a boiler or you are in a very specific environment, you want to control the temperature and the pressure, and then you can give condition. For example, temperature cannot greater than 70 or lower than 4, and pressure should be greater than 430, and temperature should be greater than 50. So this is the combined condition. You can write it like this. First, you need temperature should greater than 70, and this is all. This is all. So all temperature less than 4. And this one is as all as well. So you have pressure greater than 30 and temperature greater than 50. This is and condition. So this one I also can run this one, but I leave this one for you. And also you can uh, make a judgment whether this one is correct or not. So of course it looks like this one is incorrect. If I go to, so the normal way write that one is something like this, right? Normal way is something like this. Temperature is 120, and then you can make a judgment whether, but you cannot write them together. Something like so this one definitely work. It will work. So this display, because this is not display liquid, because the liquid should be between 0 and 100. So I need to put, for example, I put 95, and then it will print liquid. So this print liquid here. So, but if I write something like that way, I put temperature uh, less than 0, so greater than 0, and temperature and temperature greater than 0, less than 100. So what you can see whether it's liquid or not. So this is a very weird. This is still liquid. Even I put anything, I put 100, you can see still the print liquid because there's no condition. This condition is always satisfied. Because they only look like the first part because the temperature currently is 105, it's greater than 0, so it's satisfied. And then this one they print the direction no matter what's for example, if you 5, it's still print, but if -5, I'm not sure. This one first one will not satisfy, but second will satisfy. They still print liquid because the first part is not satisfied, but the liquid if -5 is less than 100. So, sometimes you did very careful, although you see, oh, this is still correct, but because of flexible, that may be another disadvantage or disadvantage. Uh, because sometimes the grammar of Matlab is not that strict, so you may write something you think it was working in one way, but actually it's working another way. So we need to be careful. Uh, Now I do some exercise. Maybe you a little tired. So do one of the exercise. So if you run this following code, what can you see? Oh, everyone, one student already. So this is I will not show you. This cannot see your name. So you just like do what you want. This no record. Just like for fun. So 50%. I mean, person select wall. So this is the correct answer. So maybe I wrong. Is this not correct answer, right? So why this is wrong? Why this is wrong? Because you know, like for the condition, for the mark here, usually use double equal symbol. So in that case, the second option is correct. So incorrect. So this one is incorrect. So I end of this one. So this the incorrect is correct. We look at another one. So for this one, which answer is correct? So for this one, read this code to see what's the result. It will display nothing or display danger, or this is incorrect. So this one use most student select the second answer. So this one should be right. So we look at but I make mistake. This one is a capital D and special mark. And I will show you like if I run this one, exactly this one, and what we can get. So I stop the under the polling, and we look at this one. So we run this one. So they will print danger, right? Danger. So this is exactly the one I asked you. So I will have other questions later. So we continue with this one. So this is a uh, how to use if and else. So we don't have enough time, and I will be quick. But don't worry. After class, we still can discuss. Uh, these are if and else. So if you have not only one possibility, you have other possibility, you can use else. And if you more than two, you can use else if. So you can use else if. So this is similar with some other language. So for example, this have a number. So this maybe most complex one for if uh, sentence and if else if. For example, you have a 1, 2, 3, and if you have this kind of logic, maybe I think in the polling I have this question. So this is another logic question. They use else if. So you can see if I have a number, I put 80. Can you make a judgment? So which one will disappear? Will appear in the screen? Yeah, great. Like most students select the second one. So let me run this one to see whether the second one is correct or not. So this is the one. We can run this one. So if I run this is exactly the code I put, and then I run this one. This has small positive number. So it's small positive number. So the small positive number is the correct answer. Small positive number is the correct answer. That's good. Most students already, that means most students understand this code. So the next step is just like do practice. So I enter this polling, and that's other nasty statement like nested statement of if. You inside the if you can continue use another if. So so I think this is the hardest, the hardest one in the if statement. But if statement is quite important, so I put a lot of effort here. And then the next for MATLAB is another very a good advantage is it can do matches very well. So MATLAB, I think matches something correlated. So that's the matrix is the most powerful function by using of MATLAB. So we look at what's the matrix. So you can define a matrix quite easy. I'm not sure you use other language. They define matrix is also good, but it's not that good. So they use mainly some, for example, for Python they use uh, list, or some use array, but it's all not as convenient as Matlab. They directly use the matrix. Something is very intuitive. You just write something like this. For example, I write a matrix uh, here. I can directly write a matrix uh, a matrix A equals 2. You can just like something like write in the paper. So 1, 2, 3, and you want another line, so you just 3, 4, 5, and then you just write get A. You can see, right? Convenient, right? It's very flexible. So that's why this MATLAB is so popular, especially in the academic uh, area. So and also if you want to display the A, you can just put a hyphen, so, and then this will know things. But A is appear here, so here is appear, and you also the multiplication and things is also very easy. Plus, for example, I have B matrix. B matrix 3, 5. I can use transpose, and that's B. So in that case, I can easily calculate C is equal to A times B. So this one you can directly get the calculation. Maybe you want to know what B is. So you can B is because I use transpose. So this 2, 3, 5 is 2, 3, 5, and then A times B, you can get C. So this value. So you can see calculation is really simple and convenient. The most simple, most convenient one. So especially for some uh, special structure. So here is give you array. Actually, array is a very in MATLAB. I don't think array and the matrix have any substantial difference. You can treat 1D array as a 1D vector, uh, no difference. So this is a 2D array or 2D matrix. You can use 2D array or 2D matrix. So this is 1D array. So you can be a vector, row vector. This is column vector. So it's a so all this one can appear in the workspace. So that's very good. It's for matrix. So I will later maybe in the next week we start to go to a subgroup. You frequently use matrix. So the matrix is powerful. Like for example, this mark, you can list all the marks, and then you can also call each element. For example, the one I just run here, you have a, for example, you have a matrix is something like this, but you want to change second, the first row, the second column, the two to another value. How to do that? Just a, you put because it's the first column, the first row and the second column, you just do like this. You want to change to 6, and then you will see the this element will change to 6. This element will change to 6. You can do all the things very I mean, for example, you want to change the uh, whole row of the A matrix. Put the whole row. In that case, the first row is you can change. So uh, first row, the first row, and then all the column, just like simply do like this, and then you can change because this is the 3 by 1 vector for the first row. So it's, I change it to 2 8 10, and then you will see A changes to the first row 2, 8, 2, 8, 10. So this is very convenient. So I don't want to spend too much time on the matrix. We will later because you will practice lots of matrix things. So creating array and things, they are very straightforward. The most is good, I mean, the advantage is Matlab is very intuitive. You just think about you writing a paper. In a paper, you do the calculation, but you can write very freely. Uh, Whatever, you even don't need to learn something. You just think about it should be like this, and then you do it, and then it works. So you can see this one are all very, and also you can calculate what's the size of a matrix. For example, for this one, if you want to know the size, you just size A matrix, and then they will tell you there's two rows, three columns. So they are quite easy and quite powerful. And the 2D. And this is some homework. I'm not sure you do it already. I hope you already done that. So first download Matlab and start Matlab and try Hello World and try page 59. So I already tried for you. So you can continue to do that. So while loop. While loop, when you do while loop, for loop is the two loops will be frequently used for MATLAB. If you do a calculation, for example, you do some recursive calculation, definitely use while and for loop. So all computer, if you don't have the for loop, while loop, not powerful. So you need to learn the while loop very well. So this is a standard while loop. So first you initialize some uh, some counter, and then you give some condition related with counter. So for example, number is 1, and if number less than 3, and then it will display number. Otherwise, the also otherwise they just jump directly to the end. But if you satisfy this one, they will display the number, and also they will increase the number by 1. So I will because the time is very limited. I go quickly. Uh, so this is an example, and for the while loop. So the while loop. So because the first sentence is the first condition true, and then they will follow these two. They will calculate. They will display the number. So its number is 1. So you can 1, and then number plus 1, and then the number plus 1 change to 2, right? And then they will display this one change to 2, right? And then they increase the number to 3, and then it's still true. And then they will print 3, they change it to 3 as well. But then next, they go to 4, the number is 4. 4 is not, so this one is false. So they will directly jump to AND. They will not display. So they go to this stop. So this is a while loop. So while loop is also actually is very intuitive to understand. So if you have learned other language, this is trivial. So but the style you still need to keep the standard style. So this is a while, and they normally have this kind of structure, while and end. So this is another question. What does the following code point on the screen? So what this one is start from 7, right? It will 12 appear because you display, so you will not see 12. Because after this change to 11 and change to 12, and then this one not satisfied, and then they directly go to the end. So this you will not see 12. So you only see 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You cannot see 12. So so for one loop you have this kind of components I already explained. So initialization and Boolean condition or test condition, and then this body of sometimes increment of the counter, and then uh, to do the again. Sometimes you will make mistake. They have an infinite loop. So for this one, why this one will run forever? Because you don't have the increase the counter. So it is always this one is satisfied. So they will always display one. They are infinitely one. And then how to do that? How to avoid this? You just Control C, stop it. So this one will continuously one, 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 one. So you just Control C, you can stop it. Otherwise, the Matlab will keep running. So you need to increase. Another infinite loop case is like this. You also not here number you didn't increase, so it's not uh, you have no result and you cannot see anything because this one you this the displayed result is outside the while loop, so you cannot see anything because this one keep running, and then in this case you still need to Control C to stop it. So that's the for another important loop is called for loop. So for loop is quite important as well. Uh, for you can see this number 67, 34, and 95. If you run this one, actually they start from 67, and then you can see display 67 and 34 and 95. So this is a here don't forget because other language not use the equal, but this language is equal. The n is just equal this, and so this one I for loop is actually straightforward. I don't want to spend too much time to discuss for loop. So here is the example. You after you see this example, you will understand. You can see first is 75 because you numbers is 67. So you must write n equals to numbers. You cannot put numbers equals to something, right? You need to use n. So because your counter is n here, so n first is give 67, and when you go and display 67 uh, here, and then this number change to the n change to 34, and then go to 34, and then go to 95. So this is a initialization and under the test condition. You also have test condition for loop. So whenever all the elements finish and then it finish, what will print on the screen for this one? For I equals 3. So this will just display 3. So this no because you didn't give a vector or things. So this one is generate a vector. So 1, 2, 3. So this one will display 1, 2, 3, but will not related. This I and this I is not relevant. So you print for 1, 2, 3. Inside the loop, you can have a if and else if. So they can call each other. So the last very important things is the function. The function is really important. So in that case, you already see in the Matlab, you already add a lot of functions inside the Matlab. But sometimes you need to write your own function. To write your own function, you need to strictly follow the rule of the function. So what's the rule? Let me the advantage I don't want to repeat. So it's of course it's if you want to repeat to something, if you define a function, will be very convenient. And so the function you should have some component, some structure. So we look at this as the simplest function. So this function is just like you first the function you can see if you define a function is print nothing. Actually print here is print nothing, right? Print uh, but this is the structure. It's print something. So this function, the name is print something, but the bracket. So it actually this is just I love our 41162. This subject. So if you print this one, if you call this one, they will print this one. But this one is very simple, but the structure is very have the complete structure. First, you have used function, and then this is the name of the function, and then the body of the function. For this one, you didn't return anything. If you want to return anything, for example, c equals to something, and then it will, when you call it, the c will give you the result. So for this one, I want to emphasize, you need to save this function in the same directory, or you need to include the directory. Here in Matlab, you have some part you need to, you can, for example, for Matlab, if we go, we can build a simple function. But later I use this function is very easy. But when you, what I want to say is that when you save, you must use the same function name for your for your for your file. So this file is .m file. So you need to, you can see that you cannot change this one to, for example, print something one, and then it will not match with this one. You will not, they will not treat as, so they maybe have some error. So you need to be careful. That's the one I want to introduce. Also, you cannot put anything outside the function. For example, you put a number equals 3 outside the function, it will run. It will run. And then this inside the function, you have variable, if statement, loops, and actors. Right. So this is a practical example. So I already built this one for you. So for example, we can easily build a sub function. For example, I think I put a sub function. So here, so this is the function I write here. But if I want to make this invalid, you can see my function name is exactly matched with this function name. So it's 1, right? If I use different one, it will not work. But after I get this one, I can directly call this one. For example, I just like a embedded uh, Matlab function for year 1, and I put this one for example 100. So maybe this year 2020, this should give my Boolean number is maybe you can see this satisfy the mode 4 is 0. So in that case, this one should be true. So in that case, this one should be 1. So the logic should be 1. So that means true. So but if I change another different number, for example, to next year will be 0. So it's no. So this is you can directly call. It's very simple, right? So before we finish, I think this is a lot of practical example, and also example in biomedical engineering. I already show you use not complex code can do all the fast Fourier transform. This Fourier transform, fast Fourier transform is just one sentence. I will show you very quickly. For example, I generate a signal e equals to 1 from 0 to 0.01 and to 1. This is a very simple signal. And then I assign the signal 2 times t, and then this is a signal. And if I plot this sine function, sorry, I should define a variable just like y. Y is the, the function, and then you just like plot y function. So this is the sine function, but it's just only not very many. But maybe I put a more time longer. I put time to 10, and then I plot again 10, and I sine 1. y sine, and then I plot. So this time there will be have more this is sine function, right? And then I can do FFT easily. So I just like plot. You can FFT. I first use the ABS is the absolute value, and then I use FFT and y. So you can see this one I haven't do the shift, but you can see this one is a like sine function what the Fourier transform looks like. If you know that this is up having to do the shift after shift, and this is our double side. So this I give you just a example how powerful the Matlab it is. So for Fourier transform, fast Fourier transform, just FFT, just like one sentence, one words, one sentence. So that's why I strongly ask you to learn MATLAB. So it's very important. Now I have another polling question, and then we finish. Uh, uh, they will, Steve or will give you an introduction about live view. Live view is also very important one. So polling 4. So for this one, can you see this is incorrect or you get high distinction? So great, great. So I think the high distinction will appear high distinction. Someone said it's incorrect. Uh, Maybe in the first this part, one dot mark equal 85 shouldn't have one dot. So this mark equals to 85, and then it should be display distinction. So I maybe run this one. So this is have a so 10 people get a high distinction result. So I put 85 this times to see what's the result. Right? 85. If it's 85, what we can get. So it's high distinction and congratulations. So high distinction. So we display high distinction. So high distinction and also congratulations. So here should be also have congratulations. So this one maybe I'm not very rigorous. So I think good. You already for the last one, and I will finish after this one. So this is a simple one. So if I equals to 1, what should we get? So great. So you get the correct result. So I finished my finished the one. I think finished the polling. And hi Steve, Steve.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I finished my Matlab. Yeah. So
Okay.
maybe you can introduce to do the live view.
So maybe I think we have a 5 minute space for the student. Yeah.
Yes,
After
yes.
that, we will introduce the lab view.
Yeah, great. So
Okay.
yeah, but
Yeah.
anyone if you have a problem with Matlab, you can contact with me later or sometimes. I will still stay here, but like we have a 5 minutes rest and then we will return. Steve will give you some introduction about live view. Thank you.